PlaidVenture, you can see the Model X Plaid behind me. I am in Alachua, Florida right now on my way to Starbase. I've decided to go on another PlaidVenture. This is the last road trip I expect to take in the Model X Plaid. I call it PlaidVenture. I expect to sell this car in August. My kid is going to college, won't be able to have a car in college, at least initially, so I'm gonna sell this car and take back the Model 3 that I bought from Omar, AKA Homar's blog. Nobody's watching. So, sorry, anyway, this is likely to be my last major road trip in PlaidVenture in the Model X Plaid. So I'm here supercharging, getting ready for the next leg of the trip. I will hit one more supercharger, I think, in Florida on my way out. Hi, Jim. Hi, Robert. Good to see you guys. Sunset Tesla. I might pass by Sunset Tesla on the way. I'm not sure if I'm going to see him or not. I haven't told him yet. But I see that Sunset. Hey, Paul. I might be driving by. So the plan is I will be arriving in Austin, Texas, or the Austin area tomorrow morning. Going to crash at a friend's house for a few hours, several hours, and then I'm going to drive down to Starbase. The orbital test launch is. Oh, Omar has a space. I'm not going to catch Omar's space because I'm driving. So get down to Starbase the morning of the 20th, early morning on the 20th, so that I can get to a good spot to watch the launch. Yeah, all these chargers are functional as far as I know. This is a 250 kilowatt charger. All looks good. My car's charging fast. And I'll just mention really quick, one of the things that experienced Tesla drivers who are into it and like game the system, the car wanted me to stop in Ocala. And I thought, well, I can go, and was going to be at like 33% when I got to Ocala. And I look on the supercharger map and I saw this one. I said, we can make that one. It said I was going to get here at 9%. I actually got here at 13%, which if you map it out over the course of a long drive like this, it probably saves half an hour over the course of a long trip, maybe an hour to game the system. You know, I don't go down to like, I have gone down to 2%, but I don't go down that much usually. And so, you know, 9 or 10% is fine. Anyway, the journey is going well. I did want to talk briefly about tomorrow, 4:30 p.m. Central, 5:30 p.m. Eastern. Tesla will have their earnings call. And I'm not too worried about it. I don't think we're going to learn a lot about it. I think what I'm expecting to learn, biggest thing, so people are going to focus on earnings per share. Is it going to be 88 cents? Is it going to be 89 cents? Is it going to be 80 cents? Is it going to be $1? And I think that's very short-term focused and not a good way of thinking about Tesla. Probably the most interesting thing we're going to see in the earnings report is how many megawatt hours or gigawatt hours of storage deployed was there, which basically a lot of people think the Megapack is ramping and scaling. And if all that's true, then we should see a lot more storage deployed in the numbers. And that should indicate, you know, fast growth in energy, which we have seen some growth. We'd like to see faster growth. But even that is sort of short-term thinking. I think the long-term questions are probably not going to get answered in the earnings call. Where's the next factory after Mexico? When will Mexico start getting built? Where else are you going to build next-generation vehicle factories? When are you going to build next-generation vehicle factories? There's a question, like I mapped out, how do you get to 20 million? And you can get to 20 million by ramping up the next-generation vehicle platform fast, or you can get 20 million by ramping the next-generation vehicle slow. And it's a question of, do you get, so we're going to hit close to 2 million vehicles this year. Maybe it's 1.8 million or whatever. Do we grow 50% a year so that next year's 3 million? And is it like a smooth 50% per year curve, which is what we're not seeing lately? Or is the point where it's just where it's flat for a little bit, growing, let's say 20 or 30% a year, and then all of a sudden there's a sudden surge, which I think depends on when battery production really scales, whether it's CATL's battery production or Tesla's own battery production or other battery production. Tesla really can get going on larger scale volume of vehicles and larger scale volume of Megapack when there's enough battery cells for it. And I know people say, oh, Martin Viecha said we have enough batteries. Yeah, They're not battery limited because they're not trying to push harder than what the battery availability is. So if they think we've got a ton of batteries coming online, then let's start building next generation vehicle factories all at once. And do you build one next generation vehicle factory first, then learn from it and build 3 more? Do you build one at a time? Tom Zhu had said pretty clearly they would build more than one at a time. So I would guess they're going to build a next generation vehicle factory in China soon. Hi, Ronnie. That's my best guess, is that we'll see a next generation vehicle factory in China fairly soon. Maybe Texas, maybe Europe. I think all these markets, maybe Japan, all these markets are much more amenable to, there's a lot higher volume available of customers if you can get a vehicle that's, say, $20,000 instead of $40,000. And it doesn't just double the revenue, the volume. It might, 5x the volume that you can sell. And that's how you get to the 20 million. I hate to be prickly and disagree with Tesla, but I think the numbers they presented in the master plan about, the share of vehicles that are going to be S and X class vehicles versus 3 and Y class vehicles versus compact, I think the compact is going to dominate. It's going to be a much larger proportion, but, let's face it, those guys know better than I do. I'm just telling you my gut. So I think that platform ramps, and I think there's probably room for another smaller vehicle beyond the compact for markets like India. Any comment on other USA Tesla battery factories plans going forward? As far as I know, I would expect that Tesla would make something like a lithium iron phosphate battery factory in the US. It may be that they're partnering with CATL to do it, but I think the way the IRA tax credits work, it may be risky having CATL build those factories, so maybe Tesla builds them or partners with LG Chem or somebody else. It definitely seems to make sense to build lithium iron phosphate battery factories in the United States with the IRA tax credits in mind. But I haven't heard anything about that. They've announced, expansion of Giga Nevada. As far as I know, there's nothing going on with Giga Kansas. They announced the expansion of Giga Nevada, and that's going to be 500 gigawatt hours of batteries, they said, and presumably they think they can get to 500 gigawatt hours of batteries in Texas, so maybe they don't think they need more batteries than Giga Texas and Giga Nevada. I think that's an open question. I think they want to build lithium iron phosphate in the US. I think there's good reason to do so. If they think they can, and especially because at some point nickel becomes difficult, why not build a lithium iron phosphate factory in Mexico? That would make sense. I think that would make sense. It's just that, they were talking about, how many terawatt hours of batteries are we going to need? And if they're going to do 500 gigawatt hours in Nevada and 500 gigawatt hours in Texas, I'm not sure how much more you need than that. So I still think they want more. I still think it makes sense to build the lithium iron phosphate factory battery in the lithium iron phosphate battery factory in the United States. But I don't know if it's going to happen or when it's going to happen. So somebody asked in the chat earlier, do I think a successful Starship launch will boost the stock? I think that's a trivial impact. Would it have if everything goes spectacularly, would it have a slight positive impact? Maybe, but I just don't think that's that big of a deal. And it's not, it's not a long-term impact on the stock. Cheap labor, and I read that Mexico has low export duties to most of Latin America. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of reasons to build in Latin America, in Mexico, but I don't know that, it doesn't hurt to build batteries in Mexico as far as I know. It certainly makes sense to me that you would want to build batteries in Mexico. So, yeah, I'm excited. I just wanted to give a quick update, though. I might do one more update on the way, maybe tonight. Just keeping you guys posted on how I'm doing. But like I said, I expect to get to outside of Austin. I'm going to visit the Boring Company property and the SpaceX property, hopefully tomorrow morning. And then sometime tomorrow evening, I guess, I'm going to start driving down towards Starbase. And, drive the middle of the night to get there early morning, so I'm ready for the launch. The launch is scheduled for 9:30 a.m. Eastern, I think 8:30 a.m. Central. I'm not sure about that. Is there a hope in hell of fast-tracking lithium mining? Let me see what that was. What just happened? I'm trying to look at that chat. I can't see the chat. I'm sorry, I don't know why it's not showing me the chat. I don't know. I can't see them. I can see them when they pop up and then they fade away. And for some reason in this format, it's not showing me the video, the chat messages. So that's the story. I want to thank everybody for your support. Please, I'm wearing the I cheat on my diet. I don't cheat on my women t-shirt. That's available at elonbits.com. Lots of other t-shirts at elonbits.com. Please support me on the Locals platform, on Patreon, as a YouTube channel member, or as a Twitter subscriber now. And thanks everybody so much for watching, and we'll talk to you again soon. Bye-bye.